Fan of the Hauraki Big Show podcast? Make sure you check out more from Jase, Mike and Keyzie on their Instagram at Hauraki Big Show, or tune in to them 4 to 7 every weekday on Radio Hauraki. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Good on you, mate.
Gee whiz, eh?
Gee.
Look at him. Keysie's still shaking. Keysie's still shaking.
Yes,
he's
shaking.
He's traumatised.
Jase is shaking.
He's traumatised, isn't he?
I've never seen you all worked up like that. It was great.
Worked up in what way, Keyzie?
We're just freaking out a wee bit, but you didn't have time to properly freak out.
Right.
Because it was happening.
Yeah.
I liked it.
We just had Dylan Moran in studio. Dylan Moran, a famous comedian, a very talented
Irish comedian? Yeah.
Irish comedian from Black Books, and he's, very talented. Black
he's a funny
Books
bastard,
was
no
very
question.
good.
Yeah.
And, the opportunity arose to interview him. And Jase, this was about a month or so ago. Jase, you were reluctant because you'd interviewed him before.
Yeah. Look, I've had some shockers in my life. And I think Dylan was probably the worst.
You said hands down the worst interview.
Yeah, the worst interview. The worst interview I ever had.
And it was a phoner.
And it was over the phone, which made it even worse. And it was about, many years ago.
It would have been about 8 years ago or something.
Yeah, about 8 years ago.
I love that Pugs was like, do you want to interview Dylan Moran? I then said, I'm pretty sure that's Jase's worst ever interview. And then Mike, you said, yeah, but it'll be funny.
Yeah.
And so you were like, okay, let's just do it.
Because Jason said it was the worst interview ever and this opportunity came up, my feeling immediately was we've got to interview him.
Yes, totally.
Our rule on the show is we only interview people in the studio. We don't want to interview people on the phone, so that they have to be in here. And then... because it's just, even though I experience the same thing as everybody else in that it's awkward, it's horrific and all of that, that's only temporary, but the story lasts forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got this person in, it was the worst thing ever. That story lasts forever. If you know it's going to be terrible and you say no, you're robbing yourself of a story, which is a real crime. So we said yes, and then we're just out there, 20 minutes ago in the office, and then Keyzie looks out the window and goes...
Oh, pretty sure that's Dylan Moran from Black Books. Aren't we interviewing him?
I said, yeah, weren't we meant to be interviewing him? What happened to that? And then Pugs looks at his thing and goes, fuck.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's today.
Hell.
That's
today
now.
in 8 minutes. And then he walks up to the door with his two handlers, and then we're into it. And he came in, and we had, look, he was not the warm enough. He's not. There's other places he'd rather be, I think it's fair to say.
Look, and I've, fair cop. It is really tedious if you're a comedian and you're having to go to interview. It is a
tell me about it.
very, very, very tedious thing to do. So I get that. But he was relatively...
We had a nice yarn about medicinal cannabis.
Yes.
He was disappointed that the vote had gone against legalising cannabis.
Yes.
We had a relatively nice chat.
We did.
But he is not you're not a moth to a flame when he's in the room, are you? He's sort of got, and I guess he would have set this up as a antidote to probably getting mobbed in England and places like that.
Yes.
Where he's hugely popular and he doesn't actually want to talk to anyone.
Yes.
So he's got a real...
You can tell he's an introvert, right?
Leave me alone
sort
of vibe. And I think he'd be great. I think he would have been really great when he was drinking, up to a point, because I know he's recovered.
Right.
So that was good chat when we finally got to that. But he was over it, and then he came in the studio, and there was a series of questions about how long he'd been in the country, which he got over quite quickly.
I loved it when I tried to explain how our show works as well, and just in case we were going to do something, he's like, I don't care how your show works, it'll be fine, it'll be fine.
We're all here.
I don't really give a shit.
And he's
I think
absolutely
what you'll
right.
find is he actually said, Keyzie, I don't give a fuck how your show works. That's exactly what he said.
And absolutely, who cares? Turn the mics on.
Yeah, just do
it.
it.
Doesn't matter
Let's
how
get
our
it
show
over
works.
with, for
No one
God's
gives a
sake.
fuck.
Some people do.
No, but this is Keyzie Edmund. He doesn't give a fuck. He's done a billion of them. He could give a fuck.
Well, hang on. Compare him to...
Fair enough.
But I like that you did it, and I like that he said that.
And I will always do that, just to give them a heads up, because our show is very weird. But compare him to Rob Beckett, who came in. Do you remember at the end of last year?
Yeah, 100%.
He came in and was like, how does it all work? So basically, this is how the show works. He's like, I can get behind that. Yeah,
that's right, because Rob Beckett's got a radio show, which is probably where his interest comes from. But then there was something about how long have you been here? Got here yesterday. And then Keyzie's like, oh, so you've been here for a couple of days? I got here yesterday.
No, that wasn't
Yes.
my question.
Yeah.
He said, I've been here before. And I was like, wait, you've been here in the last 2 days, or have you been here within the last decade? Like you'd been
No,
interviewed
in here.
So he was here this
I'll tell you what,
morning.
Jase asked a question of him, like, when did you get here? Literally. He said, I got in yesterday. Then you said, so you've been here for a couple of days. That annoyed him. He said,
That's not true.
That's 100% true. He said, I got here yesterday. We're all here.
Right.
And then we proceeded to start the interview. He got out a notepad and started doodling.
Yeah, I noticed that immediately because I could see him very clearly. He was drawing pictures on his little notepad.
They weren't very good.
Yeah, no, that was just... well, they weren't very good because they were literally just doodles.
Yeah, that's right. But what he is...
Were you a doodler? I'm a terrible doodler.
I'm a doodler.
Yeah.
But what was good about it was that I think if you were talking about things that he hadn't talked about, then he was probably interested. But it was anything that he'd been asked before in his life.
Yeah.
Anyway, in short, massive prick. But in a good way, in terms of,
I like him.
I find it a very, and I say that in an endearing way. I don't dislike him. I'd like to spend more time with him, whether he likes it or not.
Yes.
But I find it weird that you come to a radio show to sell your show and your presence in the country doing comedy shows. At no point are you funny. At no point do you say anything interesting whatsoever. At no point do you say anything that would make anybody want to spend an hour and a half with you watching you on stage.
Yes.
So my question to him, which I should have asked, was why bother doing these interviews?
Yeah. Well, and that was in comparison to the last one I did with him.
You know what we should have done?
That was a stellar interview.
Yeah, but even still.
Yeah, she was tough going.
We should have all had massive, miserable looks in our faces in that photo. That would have been great, because he will have.
Oh, he definitely wasn't smiling.
Yeah.
We're all thumbs up.
Yeah.
But and if you haven't heard the interview...
Radio jock action, get the thumbs out, boys.
If you haven't heard the interview, it's on the show highlights today. Go and have a listen to it. But I sat there the whole time like, oh my God, I hate this dude. And I love him. I've watched so much Black Books, which is admittedly over 2 decades old now.
I was having like
wanker
minor panic attacks throughout the entire... You know, it was like any kind of silence and I was really trolling through my head
I know. I
going...
got to a point where I was thinking, it's probably my turn to ask for a question.
yeah.
I don't think I've got it.
That's why I was like, this one will probably be quick, fellas.
Well, that's the problem when people find you tedious. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. He didn't like us.
You go, oh, well, I don't know where to go with this conversation.
His thing is, immediately because you're in radio, you're boring.
Yes.
That's his thing.
Yes.
And he's not wrong.
No. No. I mean, he made me feel bad about me.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? I felt that I should have been better. And I could have been better,
Jase,
but I was having minor panic attacks.
You're great how you are, mate.
Well, I did enjoy
Who gives a
it.
shit about how he thinks? Honestly,
I did enjoy
hate that.
asking him where he comes up with his jokes.
Yes.
Immediately after I told him I was going to ask him where he comes up with his jokes, and he said, "Don't ask me that." So that became my first question.
Oh man!
Oh, good shit.
Oh man!
That was great.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyt, Mike Minogue, and Keyzie. The Hauraki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Do you want to know who my worst ever interview was?
Yes.
It was
I think I know that one.
a member of a certain New Zealand band who I really like, named after a car. And I can't remember which one he was because everyone was really nice. One of them came in, was drunk, didn't want to be there, and hated talking about the new album. And so afterwards, I deleted the interview.
It's not the Datsuns, is it?
Oh, maybe. And then after that, I deleted the interview and then told the agent I'm never going to interview them ever again because that guy was such a prick.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you want to come here, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Black. I'm not going to go to your show. I'm not going to listen to your albums. I might listen to a couple of songs. But if
Yeah.
you're coming here, at least make the effort to promote your own shit.
That's right.
For some reason, it winds me up massively.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you made that point, Mogi. Another shocker for me, as I've talked about before, was the guy from Husker Du. That was who actually walked out of the studio.
Yeah, that's great.
With my colleague who did nothing to help me in the interview. This guy, because he was fucking, whatever, and he turned up an hour early, no shoes, no teeth, and just
Jase's hero.
and just fucking wandered around the studio like a madman.
No Shoes, No
And-
Teeth
and-
is a good name for a song.
And then he came to the studio and couldn't be fucked and went me because I couldn't name his song list.
Oh, that's right. If I remember, somebody was saying, "Yeah, what are his songs?"
Yeah, what is, you know, because I love Husker Du. Husker Du's a great
Couldn't name a
band.
tune,
He
though,
did-
could you?
no, but he didn't want
new
to talk
tune.
about
Couldn't
Husker Du.
name a new tune.
No, he didn't want to talk
You'll be
about
prompted to
Husker Du.
name a new tune.
I couldn't name because he was going
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
Actually I could have because I had written them all down, but I said I'll get to that, and he went, "You don't fucking know my songs. Fuck this. I don't need it," and walked out. And my colleague, where you're sitting right there, Mogi, thought it was the most hilarious, and he was sitting there going, "Is he fucking walking out?"
And then-
he's fucking walking out.
And he was right.
Yes.
That's because the flip side of that is he tells you about his new songs.
Yes.
Well, who gives a fuck about that? I'd
Exactly.
rather he walked out.
Everyone knew him.
But you're going to get offended by that and walk out. Well, then
But
that's the best result.
Yeah, but it was in a way because I was literally like a minute and a half into the interview. You know, you give me some time to get to the fucking point, you wanker.
Do you know what's funny about that
You know
story?
what I'm saying?
Is I've never even heard of Husker Du.
Yeah, Husker Du's a good band.
But I love the fact that some dude of some band I've never heard of was here with no teeth and no
from
shit.
quite a long time ago.
And very long time ago, and you know, of course, Husker Du broke up and had a very acrimonious breakup, and
Right.
he didn't want to talk about Husker Du at all. And I was just giving it some context to say from Husker Du,
Yeah.
now doing this,
Yeah.
and he just wouldn't have it. Son of a bee.
You know what's interesting? I think Matt and Jerry interviewed Dylan Moran this morning.
Yes.
That's right.
So itd be quite interesting to listen to their interview with him and then listen to ours. And
Actually, I'll tell you what, can we get Matt Heath on the line right now?
And Jerry actually said, Toddy was just saying that he's a hand grenade.
Who?
Dylan Moran.
What does that mean?
Well, you
just
chuck him in a room and it's all going to go.
You could just go in any direction.
Right.
Well,
okay.
we'll get Matt on the line and see what he reckons. I'm actually quite keen to go and see a stand up now, though.
Yeah.
Tuesday, 23rd.
Oh, he'd be funny.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we've got time to speak to Heathy.
Oh,
What's
we've
the time?
got a couple of minutes.
Soon,
Okay.
it'll be good.
We'll
Quite
see
a
if
good
we
addition.
can. All I'd say is I've met Bill Bailey once before, who plays Manny on Black Books.
Lovely
if he
guy.
wasn't here,
He's a lovely guy.
lovely, lovely, beloved man.
Mogi, Bill Bailey,
Yes.
really good interview.
Great.
Really funny bastard, really into it, energetic.
Yes.
And
I've
and
seen
a good man.
I've seen plenty of interviews with him, and yeah. I mean, look, all types. You know what I mean?
Aye.
All types. I love
Totally,
that.
mate.
My wife walked into her work literally towards the end of, or halfway through last year, and Bill was in the country shooting a TV show. And she walked in and he was playing pool on his own in the foyer.
Great.
And he was like, do you want to play pool with me? And Lucy was like, oh my God, I've got to get to a meeting. I was like, you cancel that meeting. You play pool with Bill Bailey. Are you serious? He's an absolute
That's
legend.
right. Yeah. But that's what I mean about stories. It's like, yeah.
I didn't mind that interview. I mean, it wasn't great, let's be honest.
It was
but
shit
I mean,
house.
but fuck, we
I look forward to listening back to it.
You
We've
get
got to
thrown.
we've got to make a video about it.
yeah, and this is the thing that I found with me. He throws you. He throws you with his lack of response. And
he
you're
looks
just
at
sitting
you.
there going, okay,
Oh,
are
yeah.
we-
Well, it's an interview.
Yes.
Interview, which means there's
Between.
that's right. It
It's a
means
dialogue.
there has to be something happening. So when you ask a question and there's no noise comes back.
Yes. Oh, there's Maddie.
Hang up.
Hey, Maddie, you mad bastard. You there? I thought I heard the word hang up.
Yeah, no, it must have been his, it's gone to his voicemail or something.
Oh, right, okay. All good.
Did it?
Oh, well.
Did you talk to him, Pugs?
Oh, he's having a little tutu.
It'll be good to get a couple of minutes out of him. That's all right, mate. Yeah, good times. But, yeah, we'll get a little video out of that. It'll be quite fun, I think. Hopefully we did we have a camera on him, Pugs?
Yeah, we did.
We did. Great.
I don't think we have time. Show's about to start.
Even if it's a minute, man, we got time. Anyways, hey, what's our word of the day? We can do that.
Your Hauraki Big Show
Oh, yeah, we
Keyzie word of the day is
Banter.
I was gonna say redemption, but there wasn't any.
No.
Word of the day. See, now he's infected the whole show now.
He's ruined the whole show. Speechless.
Speechless. Yeah, beautiful.
Right. Well, Pug still doesn't have him on because there's something weird's happening. So
Cool.
Good on you, you mad bastards.
Backbone, backbone, backbone.
Matt, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Matt. We just interviewed Dylan Moran.
Yes.
How was he this morning with you guys?
He was interesting. He was distant. He scribbled a sort of harrowing picture, sort of Van Gogh-esque kind of grim.
He's a doodler.
Portrait of a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a doodler. Did you find it hard to engage him?
Well, we just battled through.
That's all you can do, man.
That's what we did as well. But sort of the gifted comedian in his own right, and a bit of a prick in real life.
Well, we had him first thing this morning, and so
His mood didn't improve over the day, Matty, I'll tell you that.
He came in pretty tired wearing a big backpack, which was odd.
Oh, he's still got the backpack on now.
Yeah, he's still got that on, mate.
The camo backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was confronting.
He didn't want to let it go either.
No, he didn't. There was something going on there emotionally.
He had a couple of minders with him, and I said, do you not trust them? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're clinging onto that camo backpack quite tightly. I thought you could leave it out there. No, that comes with me. Righto.
Yeah.
I the backpack as well, and that was a mistake. But I was wondering because we talked to him on our podcast, which is quite a free form kind of, you understand, Jason Hoyt being part of the ACC Elite. It's
Totally.
quite intellectual. And that was good. But then I saw he was off to see Jono and Ben straight after us.
Oh,
my
God. What a nightmare.
If they were going to be doing any of their prankage or...
I tell you what would be good. We should have a Dylan Moran interview survivors meeting. We could do a podcast that goes out. We've got to go on here, man, but just wanted to have a chat about that. Thank you very much.
Good on you, mate.
Later,
See
bro.
you, Matty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.